Lyoté did, apart from a lot of other things, I'm just talking about the bad side of Lyoté actually. The bad side we can all read about it. It's colonization, it's it's oppression, it's all of that. But there are some other sides that he actually did. Is he, for the architecture, for designing the city of Rabat specifically, he didn't want to have any kind of breaks. He wanted to think. He was thinking about what is a smooth way of doing it. So I was trying to find an analogy between it, analogy to actually explain this to you, and I found this reverse glass here. If you think about the top of the glass is the ocean, and it's on this side of town. Khulud, I'm sorry about the delay. Can you see?
Yeah. It's opened. I can see it. Sometimes the sound is a little bit like low.
Okay, I will try
I'm trying to concentrate. I'm doing my best. But the pictures are so clear.
Okay, I'll try to speak louder. Okay, sorry. So basically, if you think about the old Medina as the base of this cup here, as this side, he wanted this kind of transition to be. He doesn't want to build really, really wide streets. Just this is the Medina, the old town, and then you have wide streets. He actually had, as you will see, if you go to Main Street Rabat, you will start from the Medina side, which is really, really very narrow streets, and then there is kind of a transition, an area of transition, which to me sounds like where the blue arrow is. And then afterwards the street gets wider, and that's where they built actually what is called now the French City. And I will show you this in here. This is the Medina. This is just one street, and it's called Mohammed V Street, which is Mohammed V is one of the kings of Morocco, the grandfather of the present king. So this is where the street is really, really narrow. This is the walls of the Medina are actually here. But all this area is what is called the Ville Nouvelle. But this is the street that Marechal Lyoté wanted actually to build. This is where he built the post office, and then the French have built all these homes that are there on this area. But this is an area of transition, and this is actually my favorite part of the Ville Nouvelle of Rabat. He was very, very mindful, or the architects were very mindful about not wanting to actually break from that side of how the architecture or the Medina was in the past. Right? So in the Medina is always, as you can see, the residential areas, as I told you before, is where the red dot is. And then it's like you start your home and your neighbors start their home. And those are residential areas. There is some Arabic terminology, words, to say it more simply. Dar is a house, D-A-R, so a lot of times you will see Dar so-and-so. Durb is street, and Huma is neighborhood. So that gets to be in the middle. The next circle is the souks or the markets. And this is where usually you have public ovens and you have hammam or Turkish baths and all that in that section. Because, the residential area, but you go a little bit further. The religious centers, mosques, and specifically mosques and synagogues, because a lot of churches, there's a time when churches didn't happen in Morocco from the 4th century to late 19th century. So, late 19th century and 20th century, a lot of churches are going to be outside in the Ville Nouvelle, but synagogues are actually inside this inner circle here because there are a lot of kinds of synagogues that can be either indigenous to Morocco before the reconquest of Spain, and there are other synagogues that got built in the 17th century and later. So this is how it is in Morocco, and then everything outside here is going to be shops and marketplaces and things. So you go from your house to the street, to the Durb, then to another circle, which is the circle of merchandise and stuff. When you think about this in terms of how gendered the space is, you're thinking about children and women. back to the analogy of my village, for a lot of children, this is the fin du monde, or the end of the world. Because you know, they should have everything they need on this level here. The Quranic school, that's why I call it religious centers, because it's not just mosques, but in every mosque there is a school, Quranic school, there is a playground where kids play, and there's a lot of things that actually happen in that area, and there's school and all of that. The gates and the ramparts of the Medinas are very important when you think about the Moroccan space. There are a lot of gates that are really beautiful that I would like you to see, and then you can do a lot of things, studies and stuff about just gates in Morocco. So let's start from the circle inside. This is a picture. A plan of a house, an old house that's been turned into a restaurant. In the middle, which is the center, you have the patio. Usually, this area here is very open. It's like open to the sky. This is what we call open from inside out. So all you see from the patio is the sky. And they don't close it. Traditionally, it's not closed. And then here on these other sides, you have different kinds of rooms. So rooms open to the patio here. And then this is the entrance to the house. What do you guys notice when you look at this entrance? I'm sorry, I have to just readjust a little bit.